this is SavaniSis again, back for another video. So in today's video, we're going to talk about when negative people are rude to you and you know you've done nothing wrong and they're mean and they're harmful and they spool out negativity. How do you still stay calm, still become the bigger person and see things from a higher perspective and a high level of consciousness? Stay tuned. Okay, so let's say you put a positive post out on Facebook and somebody spools out a whole bunch of negativity. They misinterpret what you've said. They've taken it out of context. They've blown it out of proportion and they've got very angry and upset with something extremely light-hearted and positive that you've said. What do you do? Well, initially you may feel hurt, you may feel upset, you may feel taken aback, you may be like, oh my gosh, I intended no harm whatsoever. It's such a shame that this person is taking it out of context. But if you want to be the bigger person, you can see things from a higher level of consciousness and a higher perspective. Have an understanding attitude. If you understand human nature, human behavior, human psychology to the depthness of it, every single nuance, every single reaction that comes out of a person, it's always coming from a certain place. So what happens is the person that has been negative to you and has spooled out negativity and blown your positive message out of context and misinterpreted and misunderstood you, what they have done is they have seen your unintentional, positive, innocent post through a lens of past programming, past habitual patterns, neural pathways that are negatively vibrating. They got triggered. They got triggered by you because these are habitual patterns. If you've said a certain word, it can trigger them straight away. Even if the word was in a positive context, but they're taking it out of context because they've seen that one word which triggers them.
It's
so
triggered
the whole
something.
thing was negative.
Yeah, it's triggered something from their past. So wisdom, and Dr. Joe gives this definition perfectly, is wisdom is having the memory of something that's happened in the past without the emotional charge. And so when you've still got an emotional charge attached to a past memory, what will happen is that if something similar happens again in the future, you'll automatically be triggered because you haven't let go of that emotional charge from the past event. So it's no longer, it's not wisdom, it's just, you're just going to get triggered over and over again. That's it.
And it will just ruin your life because every time somebody says something, you take it out of context and you've just caused yourself suffering. You've just caused your own self-suffering because you didn't fix the patterns.
And fixing the patterns actually starts with awareness. So first of all, being aware that why am I getting triggered? You know, what is it that's making me upset? You know, what is it that could be from my past? Now, you don't have to go and revisit the past and go really into detail about it, but just be aware that you're being triggered and what is it in you that you need to overcome. And just having the awareness there, you may not be able to fix the problem there and then, but just having the awareness there will help you to stop getting triggered. Because all of a sudden, the awareness is almost like you're stepping outside of yourself and looking in to see what's going on here. And you're not being judgmental, you're just observing. And just by doing that process, you've already stopped that triggering thought pattern or feeling that happens when someone said something to you or an event has happened.
Then you won't have an irrational reaction and you will come from a reasonable, calm, wise response because you would have understood that, I got triggered, this habitual pattern has been activated, and just before you're about to react and spool out negativity, if you have that self-awareness and you nip it in the bud, you'll be able to respond calmly and all would be well. Peace and exchange of abundance between the two of you. So it's about self-awareness, guys. So next time, be very aware of the triggers that you may have, patterns that are getting old habits, old past programming that's getting activated, because many of these things are just irrational triggers.
So the event that's happened is really not a bad event. It's just that you're having a trigger from it because it's triggered from a past event.
Yes.
So it's actually an irrational trigger.
Yes.
And you've labeled that event as something bad to trigger you. right?
Yes, and it could be a completely light-hearted comment, because at the end of the day, everything is light-hearted. If you were operating from a truly highly evolved perspective, a high consciousness, then you would understand that this world is just one universal plane of consciousness, and everything is light-hearted, everything is amusing, everything is fun and good and nice, right? So wise people always respond with a high level of consciousness. They always understand that nothing is either good or bad. It's just your thinking and perception that makes it so. And you may perceive a comment to be very negative to you, and you think that is your truth, but your perception is very warped because it's coming from, remember, past programming, old negative neural pathways, things that have triggered you in the past, irrational fears. So the truth is that all is well, that this is just one universal play of consciousness, and everything is, in fact, working to your highest good and advantage.
So what we really want to say, and this is what we want to move towards, is that when you take everything lightheartedly, life becomes fun.
And
life
magical.
becomes magical.
And cheerful.
And joyful.
And everyone is your friend.
So that's all we want to say for today's video. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, thank you. I hope that lightened the mood. If anything negative is happening in your life, if you see it from this level of perspective and play the understanding game, you will feel so much more happier inside.
So if you like this video, like, and also please subscribe if you want to.
And we shall see you on the next one. Bye for now.